Alright guys, the all NBA teams, first, second, and third team for the NBA for 2017 has been released. I made a video listing all the players who made it, but one person who particularly did not make it was Paul George. And it's crazy the side effects that have occurred because Paul George did not make the first NBA team, the second all NBA team, or even the third all NBA team. So Paul George, he has one more year left of his contract. The Pacers was kind of wanting to sign him for a contract extension this year, but because he did not make the All-NBA team, he lost out on becoming the holder of the richest contract ever in NBA history. His contract extension could have been for 5 years, $210 million. Like he lost out of this just because he didn't make it to the All-NBA, an All-NBA team. He didn't even have to be the first team. He didn't have to be the second team. All he needed to be at least the All NBA third team to be able to sign a contract extension for this amount of money. So we need to talk about why or how he was going to be able to sign this contract. Well, the NBA and the NBA Players Association, the NBA Player Association, they signed into a new collective bargaining agreement, and to not get technical, it deals with antitrust, it deals with competition, deals with monopolies, all that good stuff. But the collective bargaining agreement is between the NBA and the NBA Players Association. The newest collective bargaining agreement begins on July 1st, so it would take place for the upcoming season. In the contract, in the collective bargaining agreement, there is a provision. There is a clause called the designated player extension clause. So the teams can designate a player and they will be able to sign the player for an extension. They'll be able to sign them for more money than what they normally would be able to, and it's more money compared to any of the other NBA teams. And the reason why this clause was built in is because KD left. There's two reasons. Well, I think there's two reasons why KD left the Oklahoma City Thunders last year to go to the Golden State Warriors. One is because he wanted to win. This is very debatable because they honestly should have been in the final. They just didn't beat the Golden State Warriors. They were up, they just lost. So saying that is because he wanted to win, it could be debatable, but that's definitely a reason. The second reason is obviously because of the money. The Oklahoma City Thunder is they're like a lower market team. So it's harder for a team or city like Oklahoma City Thunder to offer a star like KD the amount of money that he deserves compared to a Golden State, compared to a LA, compared to a New York, compared to a Cleveland. So that definitely takes into account. Because he wasn't able to get as much money as he deserved, KD left for the Golden State Warriors. So the new provision, the designated player extension, allows the team to sign a player and pay them more money, the money that they rightfully deserve. So because Paul George did not make the All-NBA team, he was not able to be a designated player, didn't qualify for the designated player extension, and he lost out on so much money. Like, I think it was like $75 million that he could get more if he would have made the All-NBA team. So now you have to wonder if Paul George is going to leave the Pacers. They obviously aren't a contender, so you have to think, what will Paul George do? What will the Pacers do? Again, he has one more season left on this contract, but honestly, I think here's the thing: the Pacers can wait, and Paul George can wait. If Paul George makes the All-NBA team the next year in 2017-2018 season, he would be able to qualify for the designated player extension. They get the highest paid contract. However, if he doesn't, they're in the same boat, and if he doesn't, he could lose. So if Paul George and the Pacers, they probably trade Paul George. I think that would be the smart thing to do. I mean, they're not a contender. If they don't contend, if they don't make the playoffs next year, he would most likely leave anyway. So I think the Pacers should definitely get something back out of Paul George. And that's like my mindset with any player. If you don't know if they're going to sign I mean, Paul George did say he was in there for the long run, but again, if they're not a contender, if not a playoff team, he's going to leave. So the Pacers as an organization needs to get something before they get nothing. So that's a little bit about the Paul George situation. It's so unfortunate seeing him not make it to the All-NBA team, but what can you do? It's been Damean V2. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'm out. Thanks for watching.